Hi everyone, welcome to Gary Mac Studio. I think today I want to paint some horses and paint a couple of horses on this picture. It's just going to be sky and clouds. It's going to be a simple painting, and we'll just see how this one turns out. So y'all just hang in there and watch, and just follow this thing to the end, because usually, in fact, nearly always, I do a lot of narrative in here, and I'll do a lot of explanation on what I'm doing with these acrylics. These are going to be acrylics. It's on canvas, and I stretch this canvas myself, and it is 14 by 20 by 36. I forgot. Let's see. It is 30 by 16. And that's in inches. So I kind of wanted a panoramic on this one. I'm going to have some big fluffy clouds, a couple of horses, and then just some grassy area right down in this forefront. So let's just see how this goes. Y'all hang in there and watch, because like I say, I've always got a narrative. I've always got stories to tell. So some of them are funny, some of them are sad, and then we'll go through of actually how I'm applying my paints, these acrylics. And what I've done so far is I put a coat of white on here. And the reason I did that is because when I put this white paint on over the gesso, it makes a smoother surface that these acrylics like to blend and adhere to. So let's just go at it and let's see what happens. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Let me zoom in just a little bit, and we'll go from there. So what I'm doing first is I'm just going to get some cerulean blue up in the sky, and I want the sky really blue, and I'm going to add just a little bit of white. I don't want it too dark. I don't want it just too blue. And up in these areas up in here, I want the sky pretty void of clouds. And because I'll come back and add in the clouds here in just a little bit. But first, I want to get some of this sky color in. And I'm going to have the light coming from left to right, and it's going to shine down on these horses. So over here on the left side of this, I want to make this just a little bit brighter over in this area. spray just a little bit of water on there. It helps that. It helps smooth that paint out just a little bit. I want this just a wee bit darker over in this area, because the clouds that I'm going to put in there they're going to be big white cumulus clouds, big fluffy beautiful clouds. And over in here I want to get a little bit darker and darker as I come down. And then right down here in the bottom of this, I want this sky to have this kind of a seafoam green color, kind of a turquoise. Okay, that's going to be about it for that part of it. So now then, I want to bring this down just a little bit further. I want to make sure I got my landscape down far enough, because this is just going to be a grassy field area with a couple of horses in it. It's going to be just a very simple painting. Okay, now then, I'm going to take some gray color that I mixed up with cerulean blue, and this is cerulean blue that I've got up there right now, and some burnt umber and some ultramarine blue. And this makes a really beautiful gray color. I'm going to add just a little more of the cerulean blue, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paint in some clouds. Big, beautiful, puffy clouds. So this is all I'm doing is getting an underpainting in here. And you'll see here in just a little while why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, now then, I'm going to take this some pure titanium white with just a hint of cerulean blue in it. And I'm going to come right up in here and I'm going to scummel in some of these clouds. And I'm going to take my finger and take this paint and just move it around, just push it around. And what it does is gives this beautiful cloud, puffy cloud effect. Okay guys, I sped this up and I'm going to paint fast, and y'all watch fast, and those of you who are watching this for how-to tutorial, these are acrylics. And if you'll notice on my sky, when I put the underpainting in, you can see those different color streaks and stuff in there, and I just smear the paint on. And then I will use those as highlights as we go. I'll just paint around those little highlights there, and I'll make something of them. So you guys watch, and painting skies and clouds, there used to be a real problem with it, and I used to fight it, but I've learned to just go with the flow with whatever's up there and use it as a underpainting. And I can take and just follow the contours of some of those light areas and just put some highlights around the edges of it, and it'll bring out a cloud, just very simple and automatic actually. Just a matter of putting highlights in the proper places where the sun is. In this particular painting, the sun is going from left to right, and so all the highlights in these clouds will be over on the left side of them. And so watch what I do here. I'll get an underpainting in, and then I'll just put my highlights on top of it, and all those little light spots and dark spots in there, I'll use those to complement my highlights, my clouds. And right in this area right here, I've got those clouds that kind of in the background back there, not as bright, and I'll come back later and I'll put some highlights on them. And then right in this area where I'm at now, I've I want to make that really bright, and the only way to make it bright is to have dark around it. So that's what I'm doing right now is getting some dark shades around the outside of that bright area, and that's going to be one of the highlights. Those clouds will actually be one of the highlights in the whole painting. And the focal point is going to be those horses, but that secondary is going to be those clouds because they're going to be really, really bright. And when you walk up to view this painting for the first time, your eye is going to go right to those horses, and then it's going to dance around and look at all this other stuff that's in there. So you can see this really dark values that I'm putting in right now in these clouds, and that turquoise down in the bottom of that sky just really sets it off. To me, it does, and it just made a beautiful sky. And when I get through it, you'll see what I'm talking about, because the darker that I get around those highlighted areas, the brighter that white's going to shine. And it's just mostly just titanium white. In fact, that's all it is, pure titanium white. And I did put just a little bit of a warm sun color yellow in it to give it a sunlit effect. And then what you're seeing right now, and you watch, I'm putting just muddling in some dark areas, and then I'll take some highlights, some whites, and use those dark areas to enhance these light areas like I'm doing right now. And getting different layers of clouds, different shapes, and different perspectives of them. The near ones, and then the ones that are further back. And that's how you get depth in your painting is using values and strategically placing those values where you get your brighter and your darker values up close, usually down below or up front, and then they get lighter and lighter as you go back, like those clouds right up there in the top of right above that really white area. So that's giving it some depth. And then right here, I'm just smoothing out some of these hard edges. Very seldom do clouds have hard edges on them, except maybe in a thunderstorm or something like. In fact, this one's going to have some hard edges along the bottom of it when I get through, and you'll understand. You'll understand what I mean when I get these clouds painted in. And it's just a fun thing, and it's like anything. It takes practice, and I'm not saying I'm the expert at it, but I've painted a lot of clouds in my 52 years, and this is what I've come up with. Now, see right there how that cloud above, and I run a little trail of white down, and what it done with that dark area there, well, it pushed that one cloud back. So it's just little things, just subtle things like that gives the painting depth. And
while they dry, I'll come back and I'll put a glaze on it.
These acrylics, they will when they dry, they'll dry just a little bit darker than when you first apply them. And you begin to see the layers
layering
on these clouds. This one that I'm putting in right now, that dark one, and it's what it's doing is pushing those back that are behind it there. That this is on top of those. So you see right here, I've got some hard edges on the bottom of these clouds, and we've all seen these thunderheads, these thunderclouds like that, where they got a dark, very distinct bottom shelf on them, and it's just a fun thing to create what's in your mind, and this one is, I just made it up in my head just from observation of different clouds and stuff. This is I'm not taking this from any kind of a photograph or drawing. I just started painting. I had a concept in my mind, and I don't do. I haven't done a drawing of this. I haven't done a study of this. I just started painting. This, what you're seeing, is my study. I just start putting paint on canvas, and whatever comes, because very seldom will I do. Once in a while, I will do a study to get an idea of what I want to put on canvas. But most of the time, I'll just do a little sketch on the canvas and then start painting. And you can see right here how how that dark is bringing out those highlights and making them really bright, really beautiful. And boy, it's so hard to get decent videos with paint. This is just using my cell phone. That's all I've got, is my cell phone to do these videos with. And it works okay. It just doesn't give the best image of paints, because what happens, I think, is it picks up those little dimples on the canvas. That paint will highlight those dimples, and the camera will pick that up, and it makes it chalky looking, especially when you're using titanium white. It really does look chalky, and I've noticed in most of the paintings where someone like myself, their paintings look chalky as well, and I know they're not, but because mine in real time, mine aren't chalky like that when you're looking at the actual painting. They're nice and clean and bright, and then they don't have that chalky look. So, like I said, those little streaks that were in the underpainting there, I'm just I'm playing on those things. I'm using those for a composition, and it's nothing that I planned. It's just the way that it come out, and then I'm just using it as a tool to make an interesting sky. And here in just a little bit, I will start putting in the foreground down there, which is going to be, it's just going to be a grass in a open field with it's going to be real simple. Just it's going to be 3 horses just standing in that field with these thunderclouds are coming up behind them. And I'm almost finished with it. I've got about another 20 minutes maybe to finish it, but I run out of time today, but I wanted to get this posted. I got far enough along that you'll be able to see what I've done, and I've got about 3 hours in it. I started it about it was about 1 o'clock, I guess, and I was finished with this part of it about 4 o'clock, and I got about maybe 20 more minutes to go, maybe not even that long. All I got to do is put a few little highlights on the horses, and do a little bit of work on the grass in this field, and then I'll be through with it. So you guys just watch fast. I'll paint fast, and any of you who want to follow along, just get all your paints ready and turn on this video and do as I do. But you can stop if you fall behind, and there's no, if you can keep up with this painting, you're a really fast painter, because I've got it sped up double time, and so you can pause it, catch up, run a little bit more, catch up, and in fact, I've got a couple of people that are doing that, and they posted and said they posted to me and said that they've been following my. In fact, one of them sent me her version of one of the paintings I did that she followed along, and it turned out beautiful. So just if you're learning, or even if you're a seasoned professional, maybe there's a technique that I put in here that you might try that you haven't done or considered before. So you see right here on these clouds, I'm just following some contours of some of those lighter areas, those highlights, and then I'm going to put in some darker areas here in the front that'll push those back just a little bit, and it'll give those bright clouds some depth. So you can see right here how I push those back. Well, they'll be behind this dark cloud. So it's just such a fun thing, and I love painting. I love painting beautiful skies, and I love painting horses. I love painting animals in general, wildlife. I've done a couple of pet portraits, but and it's fun. But landscapes are my forte. That's what I enjoy doing, is landscapes, and landscapes with some wildlife in them are my main goal. That's what I love to do, and that's mostly what I do. And every once in a while, I'll jump off into something different, and paint a seascape or a cityscape. I like to paint cityscapes, and actually I paint quite a few cityscapes and seascapes, but mostly landscapes, much similar to what you're watching right here right now. And what I did right there is I got an underpainting in, and I'll just take a fan brush, and I will start just adding in some grasses and stuff. And I got to do, as I said, I've got to do a little bit more work on those on that grass, because like right here, actually this is just an underpainting. I'm just getting some stuff in there, and then I will come back and refine all of this a little bit. And it's got to have something for them horses to eat. So there's going to be just a field of grass, and it's going to be kind of up on a ridge, a knoll, with those horses standing up at the top of it. As you see in the thumbnail that I put up in the beginning of this, and it's just such a fun thing, just a fun thing. And I'm just taking some yellow ochre and a little dab of white, and I'm just taking a fan brush and just scumbling in some, lifting up some, give an indication of some grasses and what have you, all along the sides of this little knoll right here. And the reason that I like to use these acrylics is that underpainting that I put there in that grass. See, it's already dry, and just a few minutes and it's dry, and I can go ahead and just layer on top of it like I'm doing right now. And in the sky up there, it's completely dry, and if I wanted to layer over it, it's no problem. I can just start painting over it, and I don't have to wait for anything to dry for a day or two, or 3 or 4 days. And don't get me wrong, I like to paint with oils. I just prefer acrylics for the time factor. And like I say, this painting right here, I'll have right around 3 hours in it. And if I did it in oil, it would take me 2 or 3 days in between letting them dry so I can glaze over them or paint over or add to them. And I have painted the wet on wet method, and that's okay too, but I can't myself. Some people might can, but myself, I have kind of a hard time. I have kind of a hard time getting that wet on wet to do what I want to, because I'll put on the thicker, heavy body paint first, and then thin down and use a lighter paint on top. But I still get it muddy because just like right here, I scumble in over what I've got right here, and when I do that, even on a wet on wet, I'll pick up the paint that's underneath, and with this I can just mix the paint and get the shades and the values that I want, dark or light or whatever it might be. Okay, I took a little break. I forgot to turn the camera on, and I thought I was filming, and I blocked in these horses and some of that grass down in the foreground. So anyway, I'm just putting some highlights on the horses and getting the anatomy kind of blocked in. And by the end of this, I had run out of time and I had to stop. And I've got right at 3 hours on by the end of this tutorial. I've got right at 3 hours on it, and I'll have another 15 or 20 minutes to do on it when I come back to it, but I had to go, so I'll finish it up, and but you can see you're going to see almost a finished product, because I'm going to go ahead and post this because I've got other things that I have to do. But you get the idea, and it's just a simple painting. Like I say, I've got about 3 hours in. It is that simple, and it's not cluttered up with a bunch of detail and stuff. It's paint smudged on the canvas. So I'm going to speed this up again and bring you to the end of this thing. And you guys that are kind of new to my YouTube page, I do giveaways. About every 6 weeks I'll do a giveaway. And the way I do that, and the way you can apply, is to just send me some messages and comment if you like what I'm doing. If you don't. And if you don't want a painting, that's fine. Don't send me any messages. But the person who, and I've got a couple of people who watch these tutorials, and they paint along with me. And of course, I've got them sped up, most of them. And I told them, just if you want to follow along, just stop it and catch up, and then resume and add your part until you catch up, and then just continue on that way. And I've got a couple of people, and one of them sent me her version of the painting that I did, and it turned out it's really beautiful. So, and that makes me happy that someone would actually actually learn from my techniques, which my technique is a little bit different from most. I don't spend a lot of time on a painting, and some guys will spend days on a painting like this, and man, I if it takes me over 3-4 hours, I start losing interest. And if you'll notice, right down in the bottom left of this corner of this painting, there's a little image right there. And what I do is I'll take the photograph and print it off, and then I'll cut out those images. See it right there? And I'll tape it up there on the canvas, and that way I'll have my study is right there beside me. My image that I'm going to paint. I'll have it right there in front of me, and that works out really good. In fact, a lot of times I'll cut those out and just tape them on there to get a composition where I want to place those. And I did exactly that with these 3 horses. I printed them off and cut them out, and I pasted them on there to see, where the placement of them. And I do that often with animals. Animals is about the only thing that I do that with. And I don't paint a bunch of those little studies to get a composition. I used to, but I don't anymore, because I can do the same thing with, instead of making all those little images, with these acrylics, I can go on there and just start painting. And if I want to change it, I can just paint right over it, because I don't have to wait for them to dry or anything, other than a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and I can paint over it. So I don't no longer make all those little studies. I'll make a study once in a while, just to get an idea of what I want to put on the canvas, and but I don't spend a lot of time doing drawings. To me, it's just a waste of time. I used to spend hours making drawings. I'd make 3, 4, 5, or 6 little drawings, studies, and spend 5 or 6 hours making these little drawings when I can just go to the canvas and 5 or 6 hours I can be done with it. Just like this painting right here, I got 3 hours in, and that's it. And I built the composition right on the canvas. But I've done so many of them. I know pretty much. I've got it in my mind before I ever start what I want it to look like, and then I will just. I'll just start putting it on the canvas. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit more and get it done with. And you guys subscribe and watch these tutorials all the way through, because a lot of times I like to tell story. I'm a storyteller, but on this particular one, it's just a tutorial on how I do this stuff. And it's all a matter of lights and darks and the application of them, the placement of them, the values of dark and light. So I want to speed this up and get through it in a hurry. I have another painting that I've got on my mind. I've had it on my mind for a few days now, and I can hardly wait to get on it. And it's going to be a seascape, and I think I am. I may change my mind. I don't know. I change my mind pretty often about things, but I am going to paint that painting at some point, and it's just a beautiful seascape of a photograph that I took over in Washington at Olympic National Park. And I painted one here just recently, and it was a giveaway of a painting of a photograph that I took at Ruby Beach in Washington at Olympic National Park. And it turned out really nice, and it's a giveaway, and I hope the recipient loves it, likes it, and hangs it on the wall. And she comments nearly daily on these videos that I do. So, hey guys, y'all let me know about yourself. Are you painters? Are you are you professional? Are you beginners? Just let me know. I'm not professional. I don't do this for a living. I do it for fun. I'm more of a hobbyist than I am an entrepreneur. In fact, I'm terrible entrepreneur. To me, trying to sell this stuff takes away from what I love to do, and what I love to do is what you're seeing right now. I just love doing this, and I've got other hobbies that I do. I'm a woodworker. I love working with wood. I've got a wood shop out in the detached from this studio. My painting studio is completely different. And in fact, I did a little project here just recently that I may put it on YouTube. It's not a painting. It's a wood project, and everybody says if I do that, it messes up my algorithm on YouTube, but I really don't care. Yeah, it would be nice to make some money off of the YouTube, but if I do, that's great. That's fine. And if I don't, that's fine too, because I'm doing what I love to do. I'm retired. I've been retired for 10 years now, and done a lot of stuff in those 10 years. A lot of wood projects, a lot of bowl turnings and metal castings. I cast metals, I fabricate metal. I make custom-made knives. I've got a forge, and then I've got a foundry that I can melt and cast metals. And I did a YouTube on a cannon build that I've been working on, and casting a brass cannon, and it will be a functional cannon if I ever get through with it. It's one of these things where I've got to have some help to cast it, because I can't do it by myself. I'm too old, and that stuff is too heavy for me to try to handle by myself. 10 years ago I could have, but not now. I'm 77 years old, and I just don't have the strength that I used to as a younger man. And that's just one of the hazards of getting old. All right, guys, I'm coming to the end of this, and y'all, please subscribe, and better yet, just watch these tutorials all the way through, and help me build up some watch time hours. All right, I love y'all. We'll catch you next time. I hope you love it. Bye bye.